The Holy Grail War. It's a grand ritual that's been repeated for hundreds of years. A fight to the death between 7 participants, of which only 1 can survive. It's said that a Holy Grail exists in the land of Fuyuki, and that a number of mages fought over it in the past. Their one and only objective is to obtain the relic called the Holy Grail. However, the Grail's origins are unclear. We're sure it isn't the chalice that held the blood of God, but its power is fearsome enough to be compared to the genuine article. That's right. They say the Holy Grail can grant any wish. Only 1 person can possess it. The Holy Grail can only grant 1 wish for 1 person. Despite that, 7 mages are needed to summon the Grail to this land. 7 collaborators to create 1 miracle. So as you might imagine, it was only a matter of time before they started fighting over the Grail. Like so many conflicts, it started as a competition over property rights. The 7 mages equally used the power of the Holy Grail to summon their respective familiars, then do battle over the Grail itself. Only 1 mage could obtain the Grail. As a result, 7 people who started as colleagues ended up in a ferocious battle to the death. That's the gist of the ritual known as the Holy Grail War, a struggle for ownership between mages. The mages chosen by the Holy Grail are called Masters, who use the blessings of the Grail to acquire powerful familiars known as servants. Writer assassin. 2 things serve as proof that one has become a master: the summoning and command of a servant, and the mark of command spells to compel the servant's servitude. The first goes without saying. The archer I summoned today, no, a few hours ago to be exact, is Rintosa's servant. As for the second, a master must closely guard the command spells that control one's servant. This is probably the most critical aspect of being a master. When I summoned Archer, symbols appeared on my right hand, namely command spells. Stigmata is bestowed by the Holy Grail upon the summoning of a servant that mark one's new status as a master. A massive amount of magical energy is compressed into these seals, whose power is fleeting rather than long-lasting. They disappear once they're used, and as their shape suggests, each mark represents a single use. In other words, one only gets 3 shots. A master who has used up all 3 command spells can no longer control a servant and is as good as dead. Therefore, command spells must be handled with care until the very end, since they're as valuable as one's own life. It pains me to no end that I burned one right off the bat, but it wasn't a total waste, so I'll chalk it up as a win. After all, a servant can turn on its master at any time. If 1 command spell is what it takes to put a collar on him, then I consider it a fair trade. And that's about it for the broader strokes of this business. Once 7 servants have been summoned, the Holy Grail War will begin. Tonight's sleep will be a fitful one. I don't know when the final master will appear, but they could be right around the corner. Is it morning already? I feel sluggish. My bleary gaze up to the window, only to see that it's already bright outside. It's after 9. This doesn't even count as being tardy. After a drowsy check of the clock, I make up my mind to skip school today. Body's heavy. It feels like that business mostly drained me. Sitting in bed, I heave a long sigh. Not being a morning person isn't enough to explain why I feel so dull. I think Archie mentioned something about it. A master would be out of commission after summoning a servant. That's right, I summoned Archer, not Saber. I remember it all clearly now. I'd rather not, to be honest, but it's not as if denying the facts will let me do it over.
今日は鳴らし運転ってことにしよう。 Alright. 今日は鳴らし運転ってことにしよう。 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 今日は鳴らし運転ってことにしよう。
Bodies heavy. It feels like that business mostly drained me. It'll take a day or so to recover my power. I'll just treat today like a break-in period. I drag myself out of bed. A mental boxing match rages between the outside air, which is quite warm for winter, and the comfort of my bed sheets. It concludes in a 3-second knockout against the temptation of going back to sleep. I check my body in the mirror. Nothing out of place aside from the loss of half my usual magical energy.
問題なんてあるわけないけど。
Not that it's a problem. I review the situation. I summon the servant Archer, who doesn't have an ounce of respect for his master. To make matters worse, he doesn't even know who he is. Wow, we'll talk about a headache.
あいつの記憶が戻るまで切り札は封印か。思い出せないんじゃ使いようがないしね。
I guess that means his trump card is off the table until his memories come back. We can't expect him to use a power he doesn't even remember. Servants are strong familiars all on their own, but what makes them truly formidable is the secret weapon they each possess. Frustratingly, Archer claims to have forgotten what his is.
まあ、火はこっちにもあるし、なんとかやっていくしかないか。
It's all my fault he's in the States, so we'll just have to make it work. We're both in the same boat then. I can only pray that he'll sort his memories out, but who knows how long that might take. Good grief. I've really got my work cut out for...
あ、見直したかもこれ。
I might have to reevaluate my opinion of him. The parlor is completely back to normal. I thought he'd maybe just clear away the detritus, but the room is so spotless I can't even help be impressed. I can't help but be impressed, sorry. He must have felt bad for wrecking the place. I doubt he would have gone to the trouble otherwise. I guess I have to commend him for being a more decent guy than I.
日はとっくに昇っているぞ。また、随分とだらしがないんだな、君は。
Still taking your sweet time, I see. Need I remind you that we're wasting daylight? I retract my statement. There isn't a remorseful bone in his body.
おはよう。そういうあんたは随分とリラックスしてるよね。今を好き勝手使ってくれちゃってさ。
Good morning. You seem to have made yourself right at home.
何？一晩過ごした部屋だからな。どこに何があるか把握したよ。おう。ついでだから厨房も片付けておいた。もう少し荒れているかと思ったが、なかなか気の行き届いた厨房だ。一人暮らしの洋館にしては上等だな。
I did spend the night after all. Oh, I took the occasion to tidy up the kitchen. I expected it to be inadequate, but it's rather thoroughly furnished. Quite well kept for a girl living alone in a mansion. I have a headache. Why do I have to put up with a servant judging my interior decoration? I thought servants all cared only about fighting. Are we sure this guy isn't defective?
なるほど。本調子ではなさそうだな。昨夜は元気だったが、睡眠をとって疲れが出たのだろう。
I see you aren't in your best condition. You were so feisty last night, but the fatigue must have caught up with you.
紅茶でよければごちそうしよう。
I'll pour you some tea. I hope black is fine. Acting like he owns the place. Without missing a beat, Archer produces a teacup and fills it with the expensive reddish tea he's been brewing. There's a lot I want to say right now, but oddly enough, I can't work up the indignation to do. The way he does it all is so refined. I've got to admit, he might be rather cultured.
まあいいけど、疲れてるのは事実だし、飲む。
Fine, I am pretty exhausted, so I'll have some. I sit down on the chair. The teacup is placed soundlessly in front of me. I take a sip. Oh, it's delicious. I expected asthma since it's my favorite Chinese tea, Spring Harvest Hongcha. I'd be upset if it didn't taste good. On that note, I'd normally be upset if someone used my favorite tea leaves without asking. It makes me mad, but the tea was brewed so exquisitely that the pleasure it brings out overcomes my anger.
ちょっと、何笑ってるのよあんた。
What's so funny?
何、感想が聞きたかったが、その顔では聞くまでもないと思っただけだ。
I was going to ask how you like it, but your face tells me enough. I set the teacup down with a forceful thud.
もったいない。熱いうちに味わった方がいいぞ。 私が気に障るなら消えているが。
What a waste. You should enjoy it while it's still hot. I can leave if I'm spoiling the mood.
ごちそうさま。結構よ。私は茶坊主が欲しくてマスターになったわけじゃないわ。あなたもね、頼みもしないことをする必要はないわよ。
No need. Thanks for the tea. I didn't become a master to be a tea snob, and I didn't ask you to do that either.
そうか。確かに私も茶坊主になったり後片付けをするために契約したわけではない。君がそういうのならばこれからは気をつけよ
I see. I'll show more restraint in the future if that's what you want.
ええ、私が求めているのは戦力としての使い魔よ。
Yeah, you're only here to be a combat
家
familiar.
事をこなすサーバントなんて聞いたことがないし、する必要も特にないわ。
I've never heard of a servant that does household chores, nor do I particularly need one. I mean, to be fair, he did just repair the whole fucking living room. Parlor, I'm sorry.
ん特にはないとはどういう意味かな
What do you mean by particularly?
別に、好きなようにとって結構よ。
Interpret that however you want.
それより、あなた、自分の正体を思い出せた？
More importantly, do you remember who you are yet? Archer shakes his head in the negative. That doesn't bode well. If he can't remember after a single night, then his memories probably won't return easily. There are some measures I can try today, but
わかった。あなたの記憶に関しては、おいおい対策を考えとく。
alright, I'll think of some solutions for your memory issues.
じゃあ、出かける支度をして、はっちゃん。召喚されたばかりで勝手もわからないでしょ。街を案内してあげるから。
For now, for now, get ready to head out, Archer. You probably don't know the lay of the land yet, do you? I'll give you a tour of the city.
出かける支度いやそんな必要はないだろう出るのならばすぐに出られるが
Get ready? There's no need for that. Surely. If we're leaving, we should go right now.
あのね、そんな格好で出歩くつもり？どう見ても普通じゃないし、他のマスターが見たら一発でサーバントってわかるじゃない。
Do you plan to walk around town in that outfit? Anyone can see that you aren't a normal person, and if another master spots you, they'll know you're a servant right away.
私、自分から私はマスターですなんて言いふらす気はないんだけど。
I don't plan on I don't plan on announcing our presence to the world.
ああそういうことか
So that's your concern.
それも問題はない確かに着替える必要はあるがそれは実体化している時だけでね
There's no problem. While I need to change clothes to blend in, that's only while I'm
サーバン
materialized.
トはもともと霊体だ非戦闘時には霊体になってマスターにかける負担を減らす
Servants are fundamentally spiritual beings. When we're out of combat, I can take an incorporeal state to reduce the burden on my master.
ああ、そっか。召喚されたって英霊は英霊だものね。霊体に肉体を与えるのはマスターの魔力なんだから、私が魔力提供をカットすれば。
Okay, so that's what makes you a heroic spirit. You need your master's magical energy to form our bodies, so if I cut that supply,
我々も霊体に戻る
we naturally return to spirit form.
そうなったサーバントは守護霊のようなものだレイラインでつながっているマスター以外には観測されない
In this state, servants are more like guardian angels. We can only be observed by masters connected to a ley
も
line.
っとも会話程度はできるから偵察ならば支障はないが
Of course, we're still capable of conversation or reconnaissance.
あ、便利。それじゃあ本当に他のマスターを探し出すなんて難しいんだ。
That's handy. That would make it really hard for the other masters to locate you.
だが魔術師は魔術師を知覚できるだろうそれと同じでサーバントもサーバントを感知できる
Yes, but just as mages can sense other mages, servants can sense other servants.
優れた魔術を知るサーバントならば遠く離れたサーバントの位置さえ把握するだろ
A servant who is skilled in magecraft may even be able to locate other servants from afar. Archer has it in one. Masters are supposed to be capable mages, and the more magical energy the mage has, the better they are at detecting traces of magical energy. As far as I know, however, there isn't anyone else around with that degree of power.
ふーん。で、あんたはどうなの？他のサーバントの位置、わかる？
So what about you? Can you tell where the other servants are?
マスター、私のクラスは何か忘れたのか？遠く離れた敵の位置を探るなど、岸上がりにできるものか？
Master, have you forgotten which class I am? Do you expect a knight to be able to scry faraway enemies? He has a point. Archer's magical energy isn't on that level. It's likely that only the magical fuck. It's likely that only the magically powerful caster is capable of easily locating distant foes.
わかったわ。じゃあ、とりあえず後についてきて、あーちゃん。あなたの呼び出された世界を見せてあげるから。
Fine, then follow me, Archer. I'll show you the world you've been summoned to.
そう目新しいものではなさそうだがね。
I doubt it'll be particularly new to me.
それよりマスター、君、大切なことを忘れていないか？
Moreover, haven't you forgotten something important?
え？大切なことって何？
Something important?
まったく。君、まだ本調子ではないぞ。契約において最も重要な交換を私たちは未だしていない。
My goodness, you really aren't at the top of your game. We still haven't exchanged the most critical point of our contract.
契約において最も重要な交換。
The most critical point? Is he demanding equivalent exchange? No, that can't be it. The chance to take part in the Holy Grail War is already reward enough for a servant. There shouldn't be anything else left to trade.
君な。朝は弱いんだな、本当に。
Wow, you really aren't a morning person. Archer sounds exasperated. His oh so sardonic matter of speech finally gives me an idea. Come to think of it, he's never once called me by my name.
ああ、しまった。名前。
Oh, my name.
思い当たったか？まあ、今からでも遅くはないさ。それでマスター、君の名前は？これからは何と呼べばいい？
Finally cut up, finally caught up, are we? So, Master, what is your name? What shall I call you? Archer sounds sulky. Oh man, he really is a decent person. I'm sure of it now. After all, there's no tangible benefit to exchanging names. Servants are forcibly bound to their masters by command spells. While names are key to contracting with a regular familiar, there's no need for a master and servant to be so intimate. But it's important to Archer. He's clearly trying to establish trust between comrades in arms, regardless of the command spells.
私、遠坂凛よ。あなたの好きなように呼んでいいわ。
I'm Rin Tosaka. You can call me whatever you want. I answered in a clipped tone, unwilling to let slip any admiration. He'll probably just call me something impersonal like Master or Hey You, which works out just fine for me. Except... Archer chews on Rin Tosaka for a moment.
それでは、リンと。ああ。この響きは、実に君に似合っている。
Then, Rin. Yes, the sound of that suits you very well. He says something really forward.
リン、どうした？何やら顔色がおかしいが。
What's wrong, Rin? You look unwell.
うるさい。いいからさっさと行くわよ、あーちゃん。とにかく、のんびりしてる暇なんてないんだから。
Shut up! We're leaving, Archer. This is no time to be sitting around. I turn on my heel and storm away, huffing. This is so infuriating, I'm not even sure why. Damn that Archer, did he say that just to mess with me?
こいつなら絶対そうだ。
I bet he did. Definitely sounds like something he'd do. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Must be all part of his plan to get me all flustered. I better be careful. Gotta work with this wise guy from here on out. I take Archer outside. Fuyuki City, my hometown, is broadly divided into two halves. There's Miyama, which is left over from the village the city grew out of, and Shinto, the developing modern region across the river. My house is in Miyama, the old part. Miyama is itself split into two areas. The European-style neighborhoods, yeah, we know this, yes. The areas are situated on hilltops along the outskirts of town. The street dividing the two residential areas is fairly normal by comparison. How normal, you ask? This normal. I guess that I figured it out. This is the crossroads of Miyama. On one side lies the road going up the hill to the European neighborhoods where I live. Opposite is the road to the Japanese houses, and between them is the path leading to Shinto, where my school and the shopping areas are, as well as Ryudo Temple in the mountains. We come to the bridge connecting Shinto and Miyama. Years ago, a big train station went up in Shinto, bringing with it frenzied urbanization. They may belong to the same uniplicity, but Miyama and Shinto couldn't be more different. The name Fuyuki, written with the kanji for winter tree, is supposedly inspired by the long winters here, which, by the by, are pretty long. Despite that temperatures are warm, February here is only about as cold as the very start of winter elsewhere. I bet if you randomly started digging, you'd turn up a hot spring or two. Though, of course, our temperate weather disqualifies this town as a hot spring resort location. We've got an odd climate where the mild winters suddenly turn to springtime bloom once come April. This is what Shinto looks like. A number of tall buildings have been erected as if in a hurry, giving the hastily developed city a distinctly artificial feel. It all happened in the last decade or so, too. 10 years ago, there was a large fire that wiped out a residential area. Someone built a bunch of glass and metal buildings on the depopulated land. And here, the center of it all.
ここがシントの公園よ。これで主だったところは歩いて回ったわけだけど、感想は?
This is Shinto's park. What are your thoughts now that we've been to all the key spots? I ask Archer, who's next to me. Of course, he's invisible.
だというのに人気がないのは何か理由でもあるのか?
It's a big park. Is there a reason why nobody's here?
やっぱりそう見える? まあ、ここはちょっとした曰くがあるから。
It feels that way, doesn't it? There's a story behind it, actually. I look out over the park. You'd think that a wide open space like this would have children playing in it, even on a weekday. But instead, there are only a handful of people. The place feels dull and lifeless.
10年前の話よ。この辺り一帯で大きな火事があったんだって。火は一日燃え続けて、雨が降り出した頃に消えたんだとか。
It was 10 years ago. Apparently there was a big fire that burned for an entire day and only went out once it
そ
rained.
の後町は復興したけど、ここだけはそのままなの。
Although the town was rebuilt, this place stayed basically the same.
焼け野原になって何もなくなったから公園にしたらしいわ。
The burnt meadow eventually got turned into a park. Archer says nothing, but I can tell he sensed something odd even if I can't see
気
him.
づいたみたいね。そうよ。ここが前回の聖杯戦争決着の地。私も事情は知らないけど、前回の聖杯戦争はここで終結してそれきり。
Noticed, have you? That's right. This is where the last battle of the previous Holy Grail War was fought. It all ended here.
それでこんなにもここは怨念に満ちているというわけか。
I see. So that's why there are so many grudges here.
わかるの？そういうの。
You can tell.
サーバントというのは霊体だ。そのあり方は怨念、妄執に近い。故に同じ無念には敏感なのさ。街中でも濃い場所はあるが、ここは別格だ。我らから見れば固有結界のそれに近い。
Servants are spirits first. Our very existence is similar to grudges or obsessions. That makes us sensitive to lingering emotions such as these. There were other areas around town that felt dense with such a feeling, but this is on a different level. From our point of view, it's almost like a reality marble. Tosaka mutters under her breath. Archer's inflectionless voice mentions an unusual bit of magical jargon. In 8 Bounded Fields, mages call them reality marbles. Why did we suddenly jump perspective? Okay. Reality marbles are considered one of the apexes of magecraft. They're said to be infinitely close to true magic. For the last few centuries, Bounded Fields have served as mages' defensive barriers. To put it in simple terms, they're like a home security system with real teeth. Bounded Fields are conventionally erected on a piece of land or a building to guard against outside threats. They're merely an alternation of an area that already exists. Reality marbles, however, are something else entirely. You can think of them as a space that consumes reality itself. When a mage materializes their imaginary world, a representation of their mind, and overwrites the real world with it, we call the resulting field a reality marble. It's a large area magecraft that rebuilds the world according to a mage's wishes.
リン、どうした？考え事か？
Is something on your mind?
ううん、ちょっと意外だったから。
No, I was just a little surprised.
固有結界だなんて、アーチャーのくせに珍しい言葉を知ってるなって。
I didn't expect to hear the words reality marble from an archer.
なんだ、知っていてはおかしいか？
Is it so strange that I'd know it?
だってそうじゃない。固有結界っていうのは魔術師にとっては禁忌中の禁忌、奥義の中の奥義だもの。アーチャーであるあなたが知ってるなんて筋違いよ。
Well, yeah. To mages, reality marbles are a taboo among taboo. Some of the most esoteric arts out there. It doesn't make sense that an archer would know what they are. I shoot a quizzical gaze in his general direction. In reply, I feel an incorporeal sigh.
リン、英雄とは剣術、魔術に長けたものを指す。
Rin, the word hero implies someone familiar with both martial and magical
アーチャーだ
arts.
からといって弓しか使えないと思うのは勝手だが、私以外のサーバントにそんな楽観は持たないでくれ。
You're free to assume that your archer only knows how to use a bow, but I hope you don't hold the same illusions about the other servants. Oof. That does make sense when he puts it like that.
わかったわよ。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。次からは気をつけるからこれでいいでしょ。
Okay, I get it. I didn't think that through, and I'll be more careful next time. Not good enough for you?
リン、ズバリ言おう。君は優秀だが、それゆえに他人を過小評価する欠点がある。成人するまでには強制したまえ。
Rin, let me be blunt. You are certainly talented, but that makes you tend to underestimate other people. You should break that habit before you become an adult.
何気に失礼なこと言うわね、あんた。
You really don't know when to stop, you know that? Break my habit? He's talking about me like an unruly
いや、
racehorse.
失礼。別にリンがジャジャ馬だと言ったわけではない。単にイメージ通りの表現を使っただけというか。
Oh, forgive me. I didn't mean to suggest you're a horse, but it did feel like an appropriate choice of words.
なおさら悪いわ。
Hey, that's just ow! My right hand suddenly flares with pain.
ちょっと黙って、あーちゃん。
Quiet down for a sec, Archer. The command spells on my right hand hurt. They're throbbing, almost like a dull alarm warning their
誰
owner.
かに見られてる。
Someone's watching us. I scan my surroundings. I mentally weave a detection web and cast it out over the park.
私じゃ見つけられない。
I can't
あー
find
ちゃん、
them.
あなたは？
Any luck, Archer?
難しいな。私には視線すら感じられん。
It doesn't look like it. I can't even sense them spying
っ
on
てこ
us.
とは、見てるのはマスターね。
Which means it's a master. I don't know who it is, but if Archer can't tell, then it must be a master. We don't have all 7 yet, but the fighting could still start at any time. Maybe whoever's watching me is up for an early
レイジ
skirmish.
はレイジに反応する。マスターであるのなら、誰がマスターであるかは出会えば感じられるということか。だが それなら凛にも相手が識別できるのではないか。
Your command spells react to other command spells. If we're dealing with a master, then you should be able to identify them if we come across them. Would they be able to do the same to you?
ええ。けど高位の術者なら自分の魔力ぐらい隠し通せる。いくら霊樹同士が反応するって言っても、その霊樹だって魔力で発動するものよ。大元であるマスター自身が魔術回路を閉じていれば見つけることは難しいわ。
Yeah, but advanced spellcasters can hide their energy signatures. Our command spells may react to each other, but it still takes magical energy to activate them. As long as the master keeps their magic circuit shut, it'll be hard to find them.
厄介だな。では、こちらはいいように位置を知らせているということか。
That's troubling. Does that mean we're broadcasting our position?
でしょうね。まあ、私だって家探しすれば魔力殺しぐらいは見つかるだろうけど。
Pretty much. If I looked around at home, I'm sure I could dig up a way to max my power, but
必要ないと。
you don't need to.
そう。だって隠さなければ向こうからやってきてくれるでしょ。こっちから出向く手間が省けるわ。
Yep, they'll just come to us first, right? Saves us the trouble of looking. Archer doesn't respond. Maybe he's irritated with me.
何よ。自信過剰はいけないって言いたいの？
What? Are you going to tell me not to get cocky? Y'all are just having this casual-ass conversation while, we're getting scoped out. I ask a little defensive, thinking of our earlier exchanges. Archer mentally brushes the question aside.
君はそのままが一番強い。
You're at your best when you're like this.
小物には付きまとわせてやるがよかろう。
Let the small fry come to us. I can feel the smirk in his tone. I'm not saying I like what he said, but it is enough of an olive branch that I suppose. We start walking around town again. I spend the day taking him to all the important places and even drop by some less significant spots that might be useful to know. After dinner, I make for our final stop. It's now after 7 in the evening. This is a good chance to show him the best vantage point in the city. The wind howls. We're atop the tallest building in Shinto. The commanding view of the city makes for a fitting end to our tour.
どう？ここなら見通しがいいでしょ、あーちゃん。
So, pretty view, isn't it, Archer?
将来君と付き合う男に同情するな。よくもまあ、ここまで好き勝手連れ回してくれたものだ。
I feel sorry for any future boyfriends. You really know how to run a guy ragged.
何か言った、あーちゃん。
Huh? What did you just say, Archer?
素直な感想を少し。と、確かにいい場所だ。初めからここに来れば歩き回る必要もなかったのだが。
Just an honest thought. It is a good position, though, if you'd taken me here first. Sorry. I feel like I got something caught in my throat. Ugh. Just an honest thought. It is a good position, though. If you'd taken me here first, I would have spared you the effort of all that walking.
何言ってるのよ。確かに見晴らしはいいけど、ここからわかるのは街の前景だけじゃない。実際にその場に行かないと街の作りはわからないわ。
What are you talking about? It's nice, sure, but you need to visit places to really get the lay of the land. This only gives you a bird's-eye view of the city.
そうでもないが、アーチャーのクラスは伊達ではないぞ。旧兵は目が良くなければ務まらん。
Not necessarily. You think too little of the archer class. One can't be a good bowman without good eyes.
そうなの？それじゃあ、ここから家が見える？あーちゃん。
Really? Can you see my house from here then?
いや、さすがに隣町までは見えない。せいぜい橋あたりまでだな。そこまでならタイルの数ぐらいは見て取れる。
Not quite that far, just to the bridge or so. I can count the number of tiles there at least.
嘘。タイルって橋のタイル？
No way, the tiles in the bridge? I didn't expect his vision to be as good as the telescopes I often see on rooftops. Sharp eye doesn't begin to cut it.
びっくり。アーチャーって本当にアーチャーなんだ。
I'm surprised. You really are an archer.
リン、まさかとは思うが、君、私をバカにしているんじゃないだろうな。
Rin, are you mocking me?
そんなわけないでしょ。たださ、あなたってアーチャーって言われには弓使いっぽくないから、つい勘違いしてただけ。
Of course not. I just didn't take you for the bow and arrow type. My mistake.
それは問題発言だ。帰ってから追求しよう。
That's a misconception we'll have to address once we get home. With that, Archie goes quiet for a while. He must like the landscape from up here. He's probably considering the layout of the city. I shouldn't interrupt him while he's thinking. I step away from Archer and approach the edge of the rooftop. All I can see from here are the lights below. Headlights fill through the streets, and I can make out people on the way home from work. I can't tell what kind of cars they are, or who exactly is walking. I can see them, but not clearly. It's not unlike how I could tell someone was watching me earlier, even if I couldn't pinpoint them.
少なくとも神道を根城にしている奴が一人いる。
At the very least, I know someone's made their base in Shinto. I squint down towards the ground. There are 7 masters in total. I don't know who they are, nor what servants are with them. At this point, every master is probably gathering intelligence on their rivals. Suddenly, I feel someone's eyes on me. There's no reaction from my command spells. I simply sense that someone else is looking at me.
下
Down there? I peer down. People are walking on the street, but one in particular is gazing up at me as if staring at the moon. I'm not sure exactly who that is. I can't say for certain, and yet I know exactly who. I can't believe that guy. What's he doing out this late?
敵を見つけたのか。
Have you found an enemy, Rin? Archer calls out to me. Maybe he can make out my rising hostility.
別にただの知り合い。私たちには関係のない一般人よ。
Not really. It's just someone I know. A normal person who has nothing to do with us. Unable to clamp it down, I irritably snap back at him and step away from the roof's edge. He could have seen me from the ground. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. I haven't given myself away. And yet, my mage sight is screaming at me for allowing an eyewitness to get sight of me. By the time I get back to Miyama, it's 9 o'clock p.m. Unlike Shinto, Miyama is mostly residential. After 9, there really isn't anyone outside, and the streets are silent as if it's much later at
こん
night.
なところね。街の作りは大体わかった？
That's it for the tour. Did you get a good look at the city?
ああ、町のことならわかる。あとはおいおい掴んでいくさ。
Yeah, I understand the layout. I'll pick up more details along the
な
way.
ら今日はここまでね。私もまだ本調子じゃないし、家に戻って休みましょう。
Then we're done for the day. I'm still not feeling great, so I'm going home to rest. I start up the hill at a relaxed pace, when I notice someone up ahead.
さくら？
Is that Sakura? Uh-oh. That would not be a good time to run into her.
リン、何を隠れている？
Rin, why are you hiding?
黙ってて。あそこにいるの知り合いなのよ。今日は学校休んだし、あんまり顔を合わせたくないの。
Quiet. There's someone I know up ahead. I skipped school today, so I don't want her to see me. As I answer, I keep an eye on her. In the middle of the street, there's a first-year student I know. And a foreigner I don't. They're talking. No, it looks like he's trying to pick her up, while she'd rather be anywhere else.
知り合いとは外国人の方か。
Are you acquainted with the foreigner?
いいえ、知らない。この辺りは洋館が多いから、どっかよそから遊びに来てるんじゃない？
No, I don't know who that is. There are a lot of European houses here, so maybe he's a tourist. Even as I finish the sentence, I'm mentally telling myself off being so soft on that girl.
あーちゃん。 あいつ人間？
Archer, is he human?
さあ、実体はあるから人間なのだろう。少なくともサーバントではない。
Who knows? I can tell he has a human body, so that makes him a servant at least.
そうよね。マスターでもないし、ただの血は喧嘩か。
Yeah, he isn't a master either, so it's probably just some lover's tiff. Though even I know that she isn't the sort to get caught up in something like
二人
that.
とも言ったな。女は坂を登っていく。
They're gone. The girl's going up the hill.
男は
The man. What? Jump scare. White man jump scare. Oh shit. Okay. The blonde-haired man descends via the street we came by.
それじゃああなたはここを使って。私はもう眠るけど、何か質問はある？
You can use this room. Any questions before I go to bed?
とりわけ重要な疑問はない。すぐに戦闘を仕掛けない君の判断は正しいよ。今夜は魔力の回復を行うべきだろう。
None in particular. It was wise of you to avoid a premature battle. You should like your strength recover tonight.
それじゃあ明日、今朝の紅茶をよろしくね。
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Make me that tea again. Once I'm back in my room, the fatigue washes over me.
そうだ。眠る前にきれいに連絡しないと。
Oh yeah, I need to call Kirei first. That annoying priest left me a message. By now he's probably sent for the backup mage. It isn't my problem, but he is my legal guardian. I owe him a phone call at least.
電話っと。
I punch his number into the telephone. Before long, the fake priest picks up.
きれい？私だけど、昨日サーバントと契約したから、正式にマスター登録お願い。
Kirei, it's me. I contracted a servant yesterday, so you can register me as a master now. There's a brief pause. Kirei's silence is deafening. I can feel its weight even through this earpiece.
いいだろ。ではどうする？一度こちらに顔を出さないか。君のご両親から預かっているものもある。君がマスターになった場合にのみ、成人前に伝えてほしいと頼まれているのだが。
Understood. What will you do next? You should stop by. I have something for you from your parents. They asked me to pass it on to you only if you became a master before adulthood.
ああ、それって父さんの遺言のこと？それならもう解読して手に入れたからいいわ。それじゃ、気が向いたらお邪魔するからよろしく。
Oh, are you talking about Father's will? I already decrypted that. I'll drop by the church if I feel like it. Bye.
さてリン、マスターになったのなら。
Wait, Rin, now that you're a master... I hang up before he finishes. If I have to listen to Kirei's nagging while I'm this tired, I have a feeling my magical energy will drain away instead of recover.
さて、これで準備は終わりっと。
Alright, I should be ready. All that's left is to sleep. Once I open my eyes, it'll be a brand new day. 10 years ago. My father fought as a mage in the Holy Grail War and lost. Now it's my turn to risk it all for the same prize.